Villa fans, get in there. Aston Villa have beat Chelsea 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. And I'm absolutely buzzing with that performance. The win, just to sort of ease the, not nerves, but ease our away sort of form and just make us all feel a lot better. I'm just delighted that we got the win, and buzzing that Watkins scored and the performance was decent, and happy Villa fan right here. I have got some new retro gear. It's a little bit like my blue one that I've got, but it's claret, so I didn't know that they did a home and an away version, but I'm now sporting the home version of this from the 90s, so it's a lovely fleece. The other one's one of my favourite pieces anyway, and now I've got sort of like the home version. I absolutely love it as well. But you know, any of you that watched our episode this week, you will have known what I wanted from today, and you'll be able to resonate with exactly what we saw on display. It was exactly what I wanted. I wanted us to mirror the type of performances that we had last season. I wanted the midfield to be more compact. I wanted it to look organised. I wanted the two outside of the double pivot to be really in tune with the fullbacks and helping out and doubling up on the Chelsea wingers. And we got all of that today. We got all of it. And didn't it just look more solid at times, and it was less open? At times we were open, but you know, we didn't concede. So, but yeah, really happy. I'm just happy as a Villa fan that we've won away from home against a good team. I think a team that have got a fantastic coach who are coached well under Pochettino. It's a team and a venue in Stamford Bridge that's pretty difficult to go to. And we haven't really got the best of records there. So, you know, it was a test for Villa today. It was a test to, first of all, come back from a European away game in Poland and not lose. And we did that. You know, I had that little niggle in my head before thinking, you know, I don't want us to get into these losing traits when we're playing in Europe. So we've squashed that one. And we just looked more solid. And that was one of the big things from today's game that pleased me the most, that we sort of channeled our sort of 22-23 season under Unai Emery. And when we went to these tough away grounds, we were able to sit in, dig in, defend well, be in tune with each other, and at the right moments go forward and, you know, offer a threat going forward. And I think we did do that today. So I'm really pleased with the performance. I'm pleased with the win. It puts us on 12 points now, which is just absolutely amazing. So it was unchanged from Villa from last week in the Premier League. Chelsea made one change in Caicedo. I would like to know where Moreno is. So, you know, maybe he's picked up a bit of a bug, or he's had a sort of a setback this week with the injury that he had before. But so the Villa were unchanged, which was good to see. I think the side that played last week was really good. It was good to see Unai suited and booted for this one, wasn't he? Unai suited and booted with his little Villa jacket on and looking quite dapper on the touchline in London. So, I thought he dressed up well for this game. And I thought for the first 20 minutes, it was exactly what we needed to do. It was to be pretty defensively sound. We were still offering a threat going forward. We were still, you know, playing our possession-based shape with Pau Torres picking up on the ball. But it was just more organised. It was more away day savvy, which I think is what we've been lacking a little bit. You know, Zaniolo was pretty heavily involved in that first half. And at times it was good and at times it was frustrating. But for me, there's still signs there that there's a player there, and I do like what I'm seeing at times. I think there's a bit of a frustration, like some things I've got written down here, like he was leaving gusto at the start of the game, which wasn't helping. But then he sort of, when he got to terms with his defensive output, he started to do what he should have been doing, sort of doubling up on Gusto and Sterling. And then I've got sort of like Zaniolo losing it, and then underneath Zaniolo keeping it, because he's just that type. I think he's that type of player that we can see what he's trying to do. You know, he'll get the ball, he'll do a little swivel, and then he's away. But then he'll do it in sort of like the wrong areas that sort of put us under a little bit of pressure. So Unai must really like what he's seen from Zaniolo as he started the last 3 games. And I think his performance was good. And I think once he sort of gets up to speed, brushes up, sort of understands that in the Premier League, there's certain ways in which you can go about your work, then I think he'll become a fine player for Villa. Jackson had a shot saved by Martinez in the first half. We were working it well out of tight areas. And then the volley. The Zaniolo volley. What a volley. And this is what I'm saying. Like, the control and the precision and the turn and the swivel and the power on his volley was absolutely quality. And, you know, he's got a real technicality about him, Zaniolo. And I think, as you saw from the volley, it was a great save from Sanchez. Mudryk fired a ball across the 6-yard box in the first half as well, which, you know, we need to be defending those zones better. And then they scored, and then it was offside. So, you know, we went in at half time, and I was really, really pleased. And I remember I put on Twitter that, you know, Ramsey will come on and change this game for Villa. And I think it was a pretty even first half. I think the first half was very, very even. Villa had their opportunities. We were able to work it into some decent areas out wide. I thought Luca Dean was brilliant in the first half. I think Kamara was fantastic in the first half. And, you know, it's when you've got things going in your favour, like when Kamara's working really hard, when Dougie Luiz, and it's all coming together, you know, we were popping off, we were finding spaces. You could just tell today that the shape of the team just looked loads better. And I think that was one of the biggest things to come out of the first half, that, you know, they had some half chances, didn't really work Martinez too much. Their keeper pulled off an absolutely worldie off Zaniolo. So I think it was one of them where it was quite even. And, you know, I think football fans can bait Chelsea and say that they're a poor team, because, you know, they do some things quite well, and then they let themselves down. And, you know, this was a difficult game for Villa today, whether it's Chelsea that are in poor form, that have got injuries. Like we've said previously, every single game in the Premier League poses its own challenge. And we also had a challenge thrown at us in the second half. So I think Chelsea started the second half quite well. Luca Dean was losing his man a couple of times. Martinez made a good save off Jackson. Can't remember when the Luca Dean volley was. I think that was in the first half as well, wasn't it? So he pulled off two good saves there, keeping the first half, because that volley was in the first half. So, you know, we had some real good chances in that first half. And then the Gusto challenge, which was just disgusting. From the first moment I saw it, I thought it was a red card, because you just cannot lunge in. You cannot lunge in with studs. He didn't touch the ball, and he deserved to get sent off. And I just thought he was rightly so sent off, because it was a dirty challenge, and then become the challenge of Aston Villa. And the first thing I thought as soon as he got sent off was, I do not want to be coming on here and reading comments saying that they were down to 10 men, you know, they should have done this and that and that. I just thought, just win the game now. Just win the game, because it's so difficult playing against 10 men, especially in the Premier League. I think it's one of the most difficult things in the Premier League, because a lot of teams train with 10v11. A lot of teams train with less numbers compared to defenders. They do it all the time, and it's so difficult to break teams down. So the biggest testament I can give on this Villa side today was the way in which we moved the ball left to right. You could see Cash bombing on. You could see Luca Dean bombing on. We really got a grip on central midfield. And I think for that spell where we were completely dominant in the second half with 10 men, it's too easy to overlook and just think, oh, it's just 10 men. Because you see so many times that teams fail to beat teams when they've gone down to 10 men. So fair play to Villa for that. And we just started to move the ball better. We were popping it off left, popping it off right. And I just sensed we were going to score. Like I just felt like we were going to score in that spell. And we did. It was a great goal from Watkins. He had 2 bites at it. And the second bite was pinpoint accuracy. And it was a fantastic, fantastic strike from Watkins. You could see him pumping the badge when he scored. And he cares, and he gets a lot of criticism, sometimes rightly so. Some things in this game, I thought he was quite poor what he did. Some of his touches, some of his, especially in the first half, I think he only had 6 touches all game or all first half. And, you want to see a little bit more from him at times. And, even though we've won and even though he scored, I still want to see a little bit more from Ollie Watkins, but he took that goal very, very well. He deserves massive, massive credit for it, because from the angle that he had to fizz it in with the power on that second sort of opportunity that he had, it was a great finish. And we've got to stick with him. I think at times when strikers are in poor form, sometimes it's too easy to sort of to slay and say that they shouldn't be in the team. And so I think Emery really rates him, and I just think, to take that goal today, he's won us that goal. And, on his one opportunity that he had in front of goal, he's pretty much scored it. So fair play. It was good football from Diaby to play Watkins in, and it was a great goal. Made substitutions, Zaniolo, Bailey, McGinn and Ramsey. And then as it went on, it was a little bit frustrating, wasn't it? As it sort of ebbed towards the end of the game, it got very bitty, very scrappy. And I think that was, fair play to Chelsea for keep plugging away. And, I thought the ref had a mare at times. I think, that one time Duran handballed it and it weren't handball. There was another time where Luis got a yellow card, and he shouldn't have got a yellow card because Sterling handballed it. I just thought the ref was quite poor as that game was going on, and he didn't feel like he had a grip on it, and I just didn't want the ref to be the major talking point at the end of this game as well. The high line from Villa was good and bad at times. I think defending the offsides, I can't wait to do the debrief to see how many times that they were offside, but the defensive line playing offside was very good at times. A couple of times we got bypassed in the second half when they had 10 men, and I was just thinking, just rein in a bit, just rein in a little bit. But all in all, my main thoughts from today are I'm just delighted we've got an away win against a good side in Chelsea who are probably going to get their act together eventually. And for us to sort of win a combative midfield battle today as well, I thought was really good with Enzo and Gallagher and Caicedo, for Kamara, Luis, McGinn and Zaniolo to come out on top in that midfield battle as well. I was really, really pleased. So was it absolutely perfect from Villa? No, it wasn't. But it's a sign and moving in the right direction. I think we played well today. I think we defended well today. But it's all about now giving confidence and the belief of that this team can defend away from home. It's a clean sheet. So the back line looked really good. Thought Pau Torres defended very, very well today. So I'm happy, Villa fans. I'm buzzing about it. It was just one of them games where it was a bit chaotic, wasn't it? And generally we don't come out on top in those chaotic games where just something happens all the time. It was just, it was just chaotic. And we managed to get the win, get the clean sheet. And let's look forward now to the game in the League Cup. And then we've got Brighton at the weekend. So a great result, 12 points now. So I think this has probably got to be one of our best Premier League starts for a very, very long time. So that is really good as well. So plenty of positives and plenty of stuff for us to work on as well. But yeah, Villa fans, drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like on this episode. Up the Villa, up the 3 points, up the clean sheets. Get in there, Ollie Watkins.